Just outside the gate. He's got all sorts of people with him, and they're screaming that he's king of the Jews. Should we let him in?
How many people?
Maybe hundreds?
He's just another pretender. A king, what a joke. He won't be a problem.
Like that criminal Barabbas, sir? Was he a problem? Are you going to risk letting this one come in?
Can I risk keeping him out?
But who's to say these people won't cause a riot if we let them in the gate?
And who's to say they won't riot the city gates if I don't allow them in?
Sir, there's a lot of people out there.
We can handle this.
You don't want to do this.
You're afraid of a king on a donkey? Over the gates!
So many years have gone by since that day. I used to wonder whether I should have let them in. If only I had known then what I know now.
Now, being Roman myself, I know the Roman mind. In fact, I knew that centurion, Marcus. He wasn't afraid of any enemy, but he was terrified of his own superiors. Fearful of an insurrection at the gates, he let all of them in. Jesus, the disciples, the crowds, even Jesus' mother Mary. It was pandemonium.
My son's disciples thought he was going to set up some sort of kingdom right then in Jerusalem, even throw out the Romans. Peter was more excited than any of them, so what's new? I told him, I know my son. This isn't about politics, even if we are in Jerusalem.
I thought, it's time, finally. His kingdom starts now. This is what we waited for.
I had waited too long for God's kingdom on us to be established, so I decided to see if I could hurry its timing. In the end, my own name became a synonym for murderer, rioter, Barabbas, the insurrectionist.
And then I met the woman. She was fascinated by Jesus' teachings. But she was different. A Roman. Educated, I'm sure. I don't know if she was a follower, but she must have really wanted to know about him. Because as a Roman, she was...
Risking all I had to be there. But I couldn't help myself. He's more than a simple rabbi, more than a prophet, much more.
I had no idea who she was, but she seemed to know me, and who Jesus was. She wanted to know where he would be teaching.
The temple, of course. Rally the people, raise the army. They couldn't stop us. This is what I had waited for since he called me to be one of the 12. We went straight into the temple. I couldn't wait to see what was going to happen. And then
Jesus strode into the temple.
It's not a marketplace to sell your wares. This is my Father's house, a holy place of prayer. Selling a sacrifice, robbing mankind. This is my Father's house, how could you be so blind? Does worship have a price tag? Is loyalty for sale? Is it praise? Is it profit that somehow will prevail?
he threw out the temple merchants and the money changers. Threw them out. He shouted,
My Father's house will be a holy place of prayer!
My Father's house?
And he told his own people that they had turned the temple into a den of robbers. Fearless or foolish, but amazing. He had a passion for the temple I had never seen. This was no ordinary man.
It's not a marketplace to sell your wares. This is my Father's house, a holy place of prayer. Get out!
But the most amazing thing to me was that we went back. In fact, we kept going back to the temple
Every morning they would show up at the temple. You understand, we had to keep an eye on them. I decided to have one of my squads handle it, but I went myself the first day, then the second, and the third.
I used to laugh. Marcus the Centurion, 100 men with little to do but to polish his armor, and he himself was required to keep track of this one rabbi? No, he felt it too. I know it. This Jesus, he can see deep into our hopeless souls. And instead of looking down on us and being repelled and Romans nonetheless, he loved us. There's something about this man that goes beyond anything that I've ever experienced. But how long will the chief priest...
Allow this to go on. At Passover, Jesus told John and me to make preparations for the Passover supper. But where were we to find a place? We didn't know anyone in Jerusalem. He told us that we would meet a man carrying a jar of water. He would have a place for us. And that's exactly what happened. It took a long time to get used to miracles. Not that I'm complaining, but finally, a place to relax without being afraid. Because no one knew where we were.
Of course, we knew where they were.
I had never spent a more wonderful and painful time with a rabbi. He spoke of frightening things. But throughout the entire evening, his love for us was never more obvious. I honestly believe that he would do anything for us. And I knew in my heart that he considered us worth his very own life.
shepherds now only rise the tears.